Hello everyone, welcome back. So today we're unboxing an Apple HomePod mini, which is pretty cool, so let's check it out. So, as always, Apple has their premium sort of packaging, which is really strong. That is really strong. I like that. Apple always has their, really strong packaging to protect the item. Okay, so that is actually a pretty small box. I'm surprised. It is mini, so that's what it's supposed to be. So here's the HomePod mini box. So Apple always has their standard white theme to it, which looks really cool. And then there's the top, and there's just more information at the bottom. So let's get this cut up carefully. Hey, I really like that Apple standard sort of feathery feel to the box. Okay, so you're greeted first just by the HomePod. There's the empty box there. It's actually really sturdy. So if you're worried about shipping, no need to worry about that. Okay, that actually feels really nice. So we have this sort of fabric, and it sort of comes outward a little bit. And then there's the cable is directly attached to the thing. And then we have a nice braided cable actually. And then let's get this more stuff down here. What is this? Stickers! Yay! I'm keeping that. And then we have more information back here. Yeah, how to connect it and that kind of stuff. And we also have what apparently they don't include in the iPhone 12s is a USB-C power brick adapter. How many watts is this? 20 watts. Wow, they include this with the HomePod, but not with the iPhone. That's just sad. They were like, not this time. Anyway, that's really shiny. It looks really nice. That's a USB-C. Alright, and then we can just take this stuff off. Get this. And yeah. So we have a nice braided cable. It's actually pretty strong, so that means that'll last pretty long. And then we have a USB-C down here, which would connect to this, and that's like that. And yeah, so it seemed pretty cool. Alright, so let's connect this. So let me plug this 20-watt adapter that they don't include with the iPhone 12 in. And for some reason they only put it in the HomePod, which is sad. Anyway. Okay, so there's a light. That's really cool. I really like that. So now just loading. That actually has a lot of bass. I like that. So that means this must be pretty good sounding when it comes to sound. Obviously, they tried. And the iPhone automatically detected the HomePod. So let's set this up. I'm just gonna put this, I don't care. Not now. Don't do that. Don't. Continue. Agree. Transfer. Enter.
Enter these 4 digits to continue. 8, 8, 5, 9.
Okay, so that's actually pretty quick. You just select your settings real quick and the iPhone automatically detects it. So I believe that this is the final setup right here. So now we wait. I really like the design. That's really cool. And hopefully the sound sounds good as well. Okay, while we're waiting for that, let's look at the size. So this size is actually really small compared to this poster that pretty much every person has. It is slightly bigger, but like it is pretty much almost the same size. This is a 3x3 post-it, so they're pretty much the same thing.
Welcome to Homepod. You can't tell, but I'm waving. To get my attention, say, "Hey Siri." Let's get started. Say, "Hey Siri, what can you do?"
Hey Siri, what can you do?
I can do lots of things like turn on the lights, give you a news update, and tell you about the weather. Now you try. Say, "Hey Siri, play some music."
Well, I won't be doing that for copyright information. So that's cool. It actually set up pretty nicely and quickly. So that's really efficient. Alright, so now we're just going to test out the sound. But before we do that, let's talk about what this actually is. So this has, according to Apple, it has a S5 chip, which is, according to them, their most powerful chip in a speaker like this. It has, what is that called? Neodymium magnets to power the sound. It also has the radiator sound things with the bass. And it has 360-degree audio and 4 noise cancellation microphones, which is really cool. You could basically put it right next to your television playing a lot of audio and say the command and it'll still hear you, which is pretty cool. So one thing is, so let's say you say, "Hey Siri, play something from YouTube." "Hey Siri, play something from YouTube."
The app hasn't added support for that with Siri.
So I believe that Apple did not add support for YouTube yet or Spotify, so that's a bit sad. But you could also play with AirPlay and play whatever you want on your phone. So let's test out the speaker. That's a lot of bass. Okay, you could also control it with the taps as well. So you can basically control it and skip the music and stuff, so that's cool. And the bass is actually really nice, because like I can feel the air around it shaking. That's probably the radiation sound. And then there's the mids are the mids, obviously, and the highs are really good sounding as well. Alright, so here's a close look up at the HomePod Mini. Before we get into that, let's talk about the cable a little bit. So what's really cool is that this is braided, so that looks really nice, and it would be much stronger. And this is a USB-C with the standard tip that Apple does, so that's cool. And we also have this power brick with the USB-C at the end. This is a 20-watt power brick, where the iPhone 12 doesn't have it, which is sad. I mean, that is a waste of energy and a waste of money for production lines. I would just give the power brick with the iPhone 12. Otherwise, it's not as bad. Anyway, so here's the HomePod Mini. So the mesh is kind of like lifted off of the actual thing, and did like a sort of pull off, and did like a double layer. You could also squish this. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but it does get squished. And you have to be careful of it being stained. There is also a black one that won't be stained as much. So yeah. At the top we have a sort of glass lighting pad here. So that's really cool. You could basically touch it and do your touch controls. Double tap to skip a song, tap to play, and volume controls. So that's pretty cool. And then at the bottom we have this rubber. It's not really rubber. It's more of like a... It is rubber. It's more of like a plasticky rubber. It's more wax. So we have a Apple logo base down here. And there's the cable that stays with the actual HomePod. You can't take that off. I mean, I get why Apple did that. If the cable breaks, you gotta replace the whole thing. So that's sad. Anyway, so when we get this ruler here, it's about 3 inches here. A little more than 3 inches. It's like 3.6, about there. Oh wow, it's doing its little dance light show. And then we have the width, which is about another 3 inches or so, a little more than that. So here we have the 3x3 post-its. So when we measure the height, that's the height. And then when we measure like the sort of width, that's the width. It's pretty much the same thing. So yeah, looks pretty cool. Thank you for watching. I'm Mibby, and also don't forget to check out my merch and a product link in the description down below. And also don't forget to subscribe. I'll help us in the next one.